Congratulations! You did it. You ran an anti-establishment system destroying campaign. You tapped into the collective rage of Gen Z and you became the leader of a nation. The crowd is cheering. The TikTok edits of you walking in slow motion are getting millions of views. You feel like a political god. And then you actually have to govern. Suddenly, municipal security guards lock the wrong motorcycle. The economy starts doing a backflip. The very youth who made fan cams of you are now occupying the streets, and your political rivals are smelling blood in the water. What do? Do you hold a press conference and take accountability and systematically address the deep-seated administrative flaws? Of course not. Don't be ridiculous. This is South Asia. We have a time-tested, highly sophisticated and internationally approved emergency escape hatch. You find a map, you find a border, and you pick a fight with India. Let's talk about Balin Shah. To his supporters, he is the structural engineer turned savior, the man who promised to clean Kathmandu, bypass the corrupt old guard, and run the country like a finely tuned machine. And for a while it worked. When you're a mayor, power is highly visual. If there's trash on the street, you clean it. If there's an illegal building, you bring out the bulldozers. It's great for social media engagement. But there's a fundamental law of political physics. The bulldozer strategy does not scale. When you transition from municipal mayor to national leader, the problems stop being physical and start being structural. You can't bulldoze inflation. You can't send municipal police to arrest balance of payments crisis. And the worst of all, when your aggressive move fast and break things local enforcement leads to genuine tragedy, the crowd turns. Suddenly, the same Gen Z activists who put you in office are outside your door. They are demanding to know why the system still feels broken. When the house is on fire, the smartest thing you can do is point out the window and shout, "Look, a giant neighbor is standing on your lawn." Now, Balin Shah didn't invent this playbook. He's just reading from updated 2026 edition. Across the subcontinent, we see exact same script playing out. Take Bangladesh, for instance. Muhammad Yunus, Nobel laureate, microfinance pioneer, international darling. He steps in to steady the ship after a massive uprising. Microfinancing a village doesn't automatically fix a deeply fractured, highly polarized nation overnight. When domestic pressure mounts, what is the ultimate pressure valve? Boom! You bring up New Delhi. It is the perfect political shield. And why? Because it forces your domestic critics into an immediate intellectual trap. If Balin Shah is facing protests over municipal policies, people can debate him on the merits. But the moment Balin stands up in the parliament and suggests a heated sovereignty-defending border dispute with India, the entire debate shifts. Sure, the local government's handling of the city was questionable. But are you going to stand with our Prime Minister against a giant neighbor, or are you a traitor? It is a brilliant rhetorical move. It turns policy failure into a test of national patriotism. Suddenly, criticizing the government's domestic mistakes makes you look like you are playing for the other team. But here is where the satire turns into a bit of tragic comedy. You can shout at the border all you want in the parliament. You can write the most nationalistic tweets, you can get all the applause in the world from angry commentators online, but then you wake up the next morning, turn on the lights, and remember a very stubborn thing called geography. Let's look at the math. Nepal is landlocked. To the north, you have the Himalayas. Beautiful to look at, terrible for transporting millions of tons of daily cargo. To the east, to west, and the south, you have India. Every single drop of fuel that goes into a motorcycle in Kathmandu comes from the Indian Oil Corporation. The Nepali rupee is literally pegged to the Indian rupee at a fixed rate of 1.621. When the winter dry season hits, the Nepal's hydro plants slow down. The electricity keeping the lights on in the capital is imported directly from the Indian grid. It is the ultimate geopolitical paradox. In South Asia, the easiest way to win an election is to stand up to India. But the only way to survive governing is to cooperate with them. You can throw as much rhetorical shade as you want during the day, but by nightfall your ministries have to quietly sign trade agreements and keep the transit corridors open and make sure the onions keep crossing the border. So what is the lesson here? If you are a political outsider promising to revolutionize the system, remember this. The system is incredibly heavy. When the bulldozers stop working and the reality of running the country sets in, the temptation to find an external scapegoat is almost irresistible. Valencia is currently learning the hardest lesson in politics. It is incredibly easy to be a disruptor. It is phenomenally difficult to be an administrator. But hey, if the protests get too loud next week, there's always another map, another border, another parliamentary speech to make. Until next time, keep things complicated, keep things loud, and remember, if your local politics are failing, just blame the neighbor. It works every time. I'm your host, and this is Clearly Ambiguous. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and let us know in the comments, do you think this pragmatism will win? Or are we stuck in this loop forever? See you next week, tomorrow, day after, I do not know. But thank you for watching.